Some say that mission trips are just funded vacations. I beg to differ, because these people are probably the ones who just never see the hours of walking under the heat of the sun, or the tears in between conversations, the courage of approaching strangers in a place I've never been to, the spiritual attacks in between prayer walks, the midpoint of mission trips where everyone is just sick and you don't know if you can actually push through anymore, but you still do, and a whole array of misfortunes that could possibly happen. Because the truth of the matter is, mission trips are messy and, at the very least, unpredictable. And anyone who has ever gone on a mission trip will probably relate to me when I say this. It will almost always never go as planned. And that's okay, because then you realize that God is still working in the chaos. The first mission trip I went on, I had absolutely zero idea what I was doing. I didn't understand what raising support meant or how difficult it would be. I didn't know how to share the gospel naturally or what a follow-up is. I was in a place I had never been, surrounded by people I didn't know, hearing a language I only ever heard on the news, and I was emotionally in a bad place. And spiritually, I believed I didn't deserve to be there. But where I lacked, God made full, and where I was broken, He continued to make whole.
Kalahati lang po. Kalahati lang po yung dalawa. Ika'y laging tapat kong magmahal. Ang kaawaan sinasamba kita.
I've been to Bohol 3 times now. And in all of those times, I came as a missionary and not as a tourist. And every time I came back home, I was filled with stories and testimonies that could only have happened because God placed me there. I still remember the first time my team and I shared the gospel with a mom taking care of her baby. We asked if we could come in and share something with her. She said yes. And by the end of our conversations, she was crying. She told us that she had been praying about going back to church but didn't know where to start or who to go to, and we were there. God used us to remind her that her prayers were being listened to, that she was seen by our Heavenly Father and she was never forgotten. The second time I went to Bohol, I had just graduated. I remember feeling so confused and afraid. I didn't know if I was doing the right things. But while my feelings told me one thing, God's truth kept saying another. Every house we visited, every person we talked to, every student we taught about evangelism, every conversation and song we shared with the locals, God slowly revealed something to me I didn't entirely expect. He led me. He was leading me to become an intern missionary. And that calling I followed a month after. The third time I went to Bohol, I learned something very different. I remember being overwhelmed by everything. I was stressed out of my mind because of the task that still needed to be done, that schedule that didn't seem to make sense on paper, the food and materials that, from my perspective, just wasn't enough. And I honestly believed I was going to have a panic attack. Then God shifted my attention to the people around me in that mission trip, to the teammates I had with me, the students that were helping us, and just the people who just continued to show up and be faithful to the God of the harvest. And God humbled me with a simple truth. He didn't need me to complete his mission. His ministry was never dependent on me. He didn't need me for the work of his hands to happen. Because at the end of the day, he could have finished it all by himself. But even in knowing that, he still wanted me to take part in it. Going on those mission trips showed me that God can use someone as broken, as uncertain, as unprepared and unequipped as me, and it's a pleasure for him too. But more than that, mission trips showed me that a simple ripple of a yes can make great waves of change, far greater than I could possibly imagine, to those people around me and even in my own life as well. So if you're ever in a season of answering a yes or a no to God, choose yes. You won't regret it.